So every day in my shop, what I strive to do is try to make every day a little different and make every day fun and share our every day with the friends we have on YouTube. We've had some amazing good sequencing in the past couple of weeks. I cannot believe it. I'm actually not used to having that much good luck that I've been able to paint, and on the days that it snowed and rained and sleeted, I've been able to come down the cellar with a hot cup of coffee and work down here. So I've been very lucky over this winter. And certainly one of the luckiest things we've had over the course of this winter, Luciano, this cafe racer is really going to be cute. Now he called me up and he said, please, 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 he begged on bended knee, please get it buffed out. I want to ride the bike. He's ready for a test ride. So we're going to spend the next day or two, how long it's going to take, working exclusively on his parts. And lucky for us that the clear is totally dry. Yesterday I checked out the gas cap and that's totally dry. So what we basically have to do here is 2 side covers and a tank. And I can usually, if everything goes right, I can do that in one day. It'll be a long day. We'll get it done for him. Now, in the course of the friendship I've had with Luciano and with Glenn and with many other people, when I've needed their help, they've all stepped up to the plate, Bob Navola being another one. And it's my turn to step up to the plate and get this Yamaha out on the road. And to be honest, there's no rush on my stuff. These legs cleaned up, we got the bolts cleaned up. And the next part of this is going to be a real labor-intensive thing. And by having a day to buff out Luciano's stuff, it's going to give me some time to think about exactly how I want to do this. Now I know that tank's going to look real nice. And even if we didn't buff it out, it would be fine. But, you know, it's going to be even nicer once it's buffed out. Now the formula we've been using 2500 sandpaper and the 4C buff out compound has resulted in that we can really do these finishes. I think we do them very well, and we do them very efficiently too. And that's a great, I think, just a great way. Once you have something that works for you in your shop, this has worked for me, and it's going to make this job relatively easy. And the only little issue I have is because we're putting this, I'm putting a little bit of a priority on this. If we go through in any spot and I have to touch it up, the weather is really not good for touch-ups. So I have to be super, super careful not to go through when I do this. Maybe what I really need is an extra cup of coffee before I get started. That always speeds things up. So using the 2500 grit sandpaper, we're going to get everything flat, blocked out. And Luciano agreed to pay me the extra money for the buff out, so he's going to write me a check on ice and pay me in the summer, I think, but you never know. Anyway, this is going to be a relatively, I think this will be relatively easy because this is the 3rd day this paint has had to dry. And this is just, for lack of a better word, this is about as good as it gets. Now, considering we had so many problems in the beginning with the I don't even want to go back and think about this Rust-Oleum nonsense, but we recovered, we got the parts done. It's like Turbo Steve's job with the fish eyes. Holy mackerel, wait, you're so glad when you get rid of that part of the problem. Makes you crazy. At least it makes me crazy anyway. But this is just going to be a pretty straightforward sand out. And then once I get, well, I'll do one part at a time, in fact, just to break up the monotony here, because you're looking at 3 or 4 hours here, but I don't want it to be, I try not to make it boring. The work is hard enough. I don't have to invent ways to make it even more boring. But, well, let me show this, that it does come out flat. But I do want to get it that everything is flat, and it takes a lot of time to get up around the edges here. It's still wet. And before we buff it, no shiny spots at all. Now you can see up here, let's see if you can see right on the line, that's got to be sanded more. And I see up here there's a little shiny spot over there. Well, it's wet. But anyway, you got to spend the time doing the block sanding, and then the buffing just goes boom. If you do it all with the buffing wheel, and you'll sit here for 4 hours, and the part will still look terrible. Now, one of the advantages, the new 190 camera that I've been using, and I hope everybody can see some improvement. The improvement is in these kind of things where you're actually using the macro lens. And I even have one more setting beside this that I could make this if I wanted to do bugs walking across. But so far, that's what I can do. And I know you can see a little bit better quality in the close-ups. Because, of course, if you go back to the original videos we shot, we were doing them with a flip camera and with, who the hell knows what else. I had about 100 cameras over the years. And this camera, I think, by far is the best. That's number one. Number two, this method that I show on all the videos is not my secret method or anything. I try to show what has worked for me. Because there's a lot of other ways to paint. If you look at YouTube, guys paint with every technique, every dry time, everything. All I can ever pass on to you is what works for me under my shop conditions. Now this is the critical part of the job. That just before the buffing, that everything is flat and there isn't a shiny little dimple anywhere, a moon crater, anything. When you get to this level, and if you quit before that, now if we were to go through on something, it would mean we'd have to touch it up. But right now, we're ready to buff. And I'm totally convinced when this job is done, and in fact, when I spoke to Luciano today, I said, we're going to park these two bikes together someday up by his house or up by the mountain or whatever. They're going to be twins. They're going to have the same shine and finish. And I really meant it. Now, once you have the part flat sanded, and I mean flat, 2500 sandpaper, I have all the other materials. Boy, I've got 2 laundry baskets full of different polishes and pads and everything. But I found this system, if you do this finish that I do, step by step, follow every step, you're going to come out with pretty much the same result. It's all Harbor Freight stuff. These are very cheap. I think they're $5 for 2 of them. And what I always do is, now see, I have a pad on there that I've used. This is the Harbor Freight, the $12 buffer. I've used this pad. Yeah, if I were polishing aluminum or something, yeah, that wouldn't even matter. But I'm polishing paint. Paint is soft. I don't want to scratch it. There might be one little hardened up thing, a compound in there. These are cheap enough that I put a new one on every time I buff. And especially, this material buffs so nicely. It's a sin not to. And you can really, this stuff, you can really put a bitchin' rides finish on in no time flat. So there's a couple of tips that are worth noting about these buffers. Number one is getting rid of the plug. The plug is, look at this, they give you a foot of cord. The plug always seems to scratch what you're buffing. A total pain in the neck. Number two, in the past, whenever I've tried to use pads over and over and wash them and do everything, and there's certain things, yeah, if you're buffing your car, this would be fine. But we're not buffing a car. We're buffing Luciano's motorcycle, and he's the fussiest customer we have. And a brand new, nice, fresh pad. It's just cheap insurance that we're not going to have a problem. I also put down I change the towel on a regular basis so I don't get any grit and dirt, and I want to keep this as immaculate as possible. Now, from watching several other people that really do know, and I mean the people that have commercial enterprises, they're making money doing this. And this is the bottom line. They all say, or most of them say, you do this. You put 5 dots of this on, or 7 dots, or 8 dots. I don't think it matters at all. I've tried this, and I've tried, but here's what is important, is to get some around the edge when you smear it on. In here, nothing's going to happen. Everything that happens is going to happen right out at the edge here. So, and because this stuff is so expensive, I don't want to waste it. I don't want to be a waster. So, the other thing is I like to do this. And I'm only showing my method. Believe me, there are other methods. And there are probably a world of people that say, oh, that's a stupid way to do it. Oh, I do it my way. And that's fine. That's what we have a YouTube channel for. And I can't wait to see other people, because I learn from everybody. And that's the name of the game. Anyway, let's see how this buffs up. Now, usually this would not take too long. If the paint is hard, I'm not pressing down hard enough that I'm slowing down the buffer. All you do is burn up all the bushings and bearings in the buffer. But I am putting a mild pressure on this. Now, get a rig. I always think I like to do it without a camera cut. It always bothers me when somebody shows you a magic trick, but there's a camera cut in it. Now, you've seen it from flat to, I think you do not have to be a rocket scientist to see how quickly that came up. Now, where this is going to take a lot of time is around the edges. A lot of this I'll have to do by hand in there because I don't want to hit that edge. Doing this all, but the big flat areas go very quickly. It's all these edges around here that just take a lot of time. But when you think of the quality of that finish, and that's not even, doesn't even have a coat of wax on it yet. I spent roughly a half an hour on this part. It's almost done. But the final thing, and it's always the final thing, is there's always got to be a couple of spots, and I'll explain what this is all about. If I were to run a buffer over here, I'll break through right at the end. So there's always the last little bit, and this is always what separates a really nice job from that thing where it's 99% and you say, well, they didn't do that, and it jumps right out at you that's like a shortcut. But anyway, this part really came out nice. And so I estimate I'll be able to get this whole thing done in this one work session. And I know Luciano's itching to put the bike together, so, you know, I'm itching to see it all in one piece. And what I planned on doing is, when he gets the bike all together, of course, I'll make a little pilgrimage up to his shop. I'd like to see Turbo Steve's bike when he gets it done, too. These are all the bikes from this winter's restoration. And they're like our children. They're like our eggs that are hatching. I think that's really coming out nice. I'm real happy with that. So my contention is, and this is an important thing. Look at, I can see myself in there. Look. Hello. Watch YouTube. Hey, even though this is a different color yellow, this of course Yama yellow, and this is mellow yellow. But they really look like evil twins. Now last year we did the evil twin Suzuki project with the two Suzukis. I think this is going to be the evil twin Yamaha project eventually. They're going to look great when they're together on the mountain. One of the things that's important about when you learn how to finish, or at least for me it was important and I wanted to share this, is you've got to be able to do it over and over again. It's of no value if you do one really custom finish and the next time you go to do it, it didn't come out. So the fact that I've got these parts, they're every bit as high gloss as my parts are on the FZR, and I just have a good feeling. And now, as soon as I get done with these side covers, I want to get into the tank. The tank's going to be a lot of time, but my 4-hour window, it might be a 5-hour window today. I don't care. I want to finish this up for Luciano because I know he's really itching to ride. That really is true. I know he's going to ride up and down his driveway in the snow, but he's going to ride, that's for sure. And I've been at his house many times when he went to test ride a bike, went down the end of the block, and it was snowing or raining or... Anyway, I wanted to just mention something that'll be on the end of this video. We try on the 18th to gather groups of people that are a lot of fun to hang around with and work on each other's bikes and share technology and information, and that's worked pretty good over the years. One of the people that's been part of the A team, and we haven't seen him in a while, he's been on kind of a sabbatical, is NEJAT. NEJAT learned how to paint. He was over at my house, and I'm guessing the better part of 2 years, and he did a lot of work. I have all the videos to prove it. He ate a lot of cookies too, ate a lot of soup, and he was a ton of fun to be with. And the best fun was, we used to kid each other about the bikes, and he was doing track bikes, and he had Triumphs, and it was really a good interaction. But I really miss him, so I hope if he gets on, I know he watches all the videos. We are looking forward to seeing you again, NEJAT, but I'll put some footage at the end of this video. This is going to sand right out just like the other one. Now, this is one of these things where I always say to people, it's like, I'm telling you, don't smoke cigarettes, but I'm smoking. I always say, when you develop a system that works for you, and a system of materials and sanding grits and whatever, and it works, don't get too cute. I always get too cute. I'm always experimenting with stuff. But then every once in a while I find something that's really a little bit better. But I can always go, the thing is, I can always go back to the stuff that I know works every time. And this system works every time. I've done so many bikes this way, and they all buff out beautifully. Oh, the evil twins are coming to life, Luciano. The evil twins. The evil ladders. Boy, at this point in the job, I really get excited about seeing the quality. The quality of this finish is just off the chart. That is really... Now, if I was going out by bitchin' rides and I had to audition, I'd bring him a part like this and I'd say, you want to hire me? And he'd probably say, nah, you're Polish. So now the last piece of the puzzle is going to be the tank. Of course, I guess you've noticed already, I saved that for last. Parts of the tank I can do with a soft block, but of course it's never the big flat surfaces like the hood of a car goes very quickly. It's the corners and angles and edges and the little places that you don't want to break through. But what's cool about this, and not sure if you can even see this on the video, let me pop this up. The ladders on this are just flawless. They really came out nice. So when we put these two evil twins out on a, I don't know what, who knows where they're gonna be, in a dumpster somewhere. But anyway, I know Luciano is really going to be happy, and as a good friend, I'm happy that he's happy, and may he enjoy this bike many years. But here's my point. The extra 4 or 5 hours it took to buff this, I don't think Luciano really wanted to do it. He was kind of hemming and hawing, because I know what he didn't want. He didn't want me to give it to him and say, you do it. So, smart guy, by the way. And so, but that's going to be, when we have the bike at one of our gatherings and people look at it, I'll be real happy to say, yeah, there's one of my finishes. And that's the reward I get, is knowing that, and that isn't the real reward. The real reward is when I see somebody else that can copy this, and they can do it, like NEJAT, like Larry, like Glenn. Then I'm really happy about it. Anyway, but I'm a happy guy. I'm happy no matter what comes along. Anyway, we're going to work on this tank, probably an hour here, grinding away at it, and we'll be ready to buff it. But it's always, there's no other word for it, labor of love. Okay, that part's all flat sanded down. And I assume, unless we run into some kind of an issue, an hour from now, hour and a half, that's going to be buffed. Now, there's one part of this tank I was really unhappy with, and it's this edge that it goes around the bottom of the tank. So you can't really buff in there, you can't really sand in there, there's nothing you can do about it. And on the bottom of the tank, I don't know, it just looks ratty to me. I'm sorry, the next time I do any of the tanks from the Japanese bikes, I'm going to do that edge with Bondo. And in fact, to make a long story short, I did this one with Bondo, and I think it just looks a ton nicer. At a moment of truth here. Let's see how that looks. Really not sure you can see that on the video. That looks pretty good. Well, whether it's worth it or not is in the eye of the beholder, but the hours we spent doing this, I'm sure one thing. Somebody will notice it. Not sure Luciano will, but I will. Hey, that's really coming out nice. I got a little more buffing to do, of course, and as I wipe this down, the reason is I want to find any spot that still isn't fully buffed out. I want to pick away at it, and to be honest, I don't care how long it takes. I want that when I give Luciano the bill for this job, I want him to pay in pizza. Now the final step on this is the flits. And as beautiful and shiny as this is, it really doesn't have a lot of protection. I know the flits will put a nice level of protection on. Again, there's more for the protection than the shine. I got a pad that's never had anything but flits on it. And it's the final step. It's that thing, if you leave it out, nothing bad's happening. The finish looks pretty good now, but this will put some protection on it while it's up at Luciano's house until he actually gets the bike assembled. And actually the protection on the aluminum is more important than on the paint, because I'm sure he'll put a coat of wax on this. And this doesn't even have wax on it yet. It really did come out pretty nice. Wow. I'm impressed. Anyway, the flits, you just need to do just what I'm doing now. Just let it, give it 5 minutes of just rolling the buffer around. The final result always speaks for itself. Well, we flitzed everything up. The only thing left, if Luciano wants to put some Simonize on there, but I always like to let paint cure for a while. I always say a month or so, but that's from my old days of shooting lacquer. Boy, that is, Luciano, I'm sure you'll enjoy owning that. Boy, that's going to turn some heads up on a mountain. Well, you tell me, these two are truly evil, the evil Yamahas, evil twins. Now, I really hope you've enjoyed the video and that you've picked up some information, because this system that I've shown has worked so well. I can't imagine that you could go and do something and practice a little bit and not have the same result. That is real, and we haven't spent a lot of money. We don't have $150 buffers and $400 spray guns, and we have basic tools and a lot of passion. Anyway, I'm going to put that video of NEJAT. We had so much fun with NEJAT. NEJAT, we miss you, guy. Hope you come back, and we still have his Ducati in the garage, his ports. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining the A-team. Send me your dues. So here we're going to do a little demo today. Now, let me explain why we're going to do this today. NEJAT has this little, what do you call it, a travel bag?
It's a tank bag.
Okay.
That doesn't use magnets to stay, basically.
Okay.
And it has an electric option where you can get juice to it to charge your devices. And how it works is this very slim connection unit that connects to just about any gas cap. Has a wire to the battery.
Obviously goes down to the battery.
Yeah.
And where does it connect under here?
So there's a there is
Press
a coupling point
Okay.
here. See this block?
Yeah.
It's designed so that it's designed for your bike. You place it anywhere you need to, so that it doesn't touch. So
Okay, and it doesn't scratch. Obviously, doesn't scratch the tank.
The bike, yeah. So
okay, and it doesn't get in your way when you're in the riding position.
It clicks in, and if you look, there's no touch point.
Ah, and if you scratch it up, who cares? Because you'll just repaint your bike purple.
And they come in different sizes. I don't remember. I bought 2 bags, and it was close to $600 for the 2 sets.
My track bike didn't cost $600. What are you talking about? Look at them laughing. My whole bike isn't $600.
The nice thing about it is I can interchange them between all my bikes.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
And
That's
having a charger unit.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Having a charger unit built in is cool.
Yeah. Now this is funny. I got to say this. This is very funny. NEJAT and I are about as opposite as we could be the odd couple. Notice.
And that's why we get along.
No, look. That's why we get along. So look at him. He looks like he could be a GC model. And look at me. Well, you don't really want to look.
Yeah.
No, you ain't taking my picture.
Let's look at him.
Now look. This is what my head looks like all the time. Look at what his head looks like. Look at this. His bike. Notice his bike.
Matches.
Filthy dirty. Did you ever see my bike dirty like that?
I came here in the rain.
No excuse. I would have wiped it off before I let anybody see it. Look at this. But we get along so good. We get along so good, basically because we are opposites attract. Look at this. He's got.
I think we both are into detail.
That's funny though.
We're both into detail and high quality, and I think that's what probably connects us.
I'm into being cheap and not spending any money and hanging out with Luciano.
And that's why when you fabricate stuff, they're high quality.
Yeah, well, look. Now this is funny. I have to show this.
Sure.
This is a $600 pocketbook or whatever this is. Now, let's go look at my $600 pocketbook. I want to show you mine. I don't have any of that stuff. Anyway, the pond is already melting up. He's getting ready to leave. He's bailing out on me. This is why we're such good friends. Let's get in here, turn some lights on. I want to show you. This is my $600 pocket. No, it's actually $700. This is my $700 bike. And you got a $600 pocketbook. So what's wrong with this? And this GS I did pay $700 for.
And
except it needs a crankshaft.
But you didn't do anything to it, right?
No, that's all. But I wanted to show this here, and some nice people that love to see me suffer out here in the cold.
It's worth it. It's all worth it.
And this is the pride of the fleet now. NEJAT's purple. What are we gonna call this?
Blue. Oh, purple rain, but as in rain over, not rain like.
Oh, rain like Caesar reigned over Rome.
So it looks blue in there, but it's actually
it does.
Purple.
I gotta look at this on a TV screen, on a big screen. Boy, these YouTube videos, by the way, they play great on my big screen TV. Holy mackerel.
Wow, they look blue there.
Yeah, they do. Wow.
That's, you know what it is? That's the fluorescent lights.
But yeah, probably it is. But anyway, here's the difference. You can have a $700 GS. Actually, they're both $700 when I come to think about it.
Yeah.
This.
Did you put in the time?
The red one was $1,500. So, let's see. RD, I don't remember.
That one's beautiful.
Boy, we got a lot of cheap stuff here.
All add up to lots of fun.
But I don't have a pocketbook. Let's go out and look at your bike. This is ridiculous. This is another.
Done me well.
This bike was even cheaper than that. Can't imagine. Anyway, we had a great time today. I thought I'd share a minute of what we did. We worked on my big screen TV. Downstairs, the cable wire was bad. We resolved that. We had a good time. Jose never showed up, so we ate his food. We drank his coffee and ate his food. Ah, she looks good.
Is she beautiful?
Yeah, it's a beautiful bike. Are you kidding me? You gonna do a burnout in my driveway here for me, or what?
I don't
do one of these teenage burnouts?
I don't ride like that.
No.
No.
Yeah, there's a show on TV, Wheels Gone Wild. Karen and I watched 10 minutes of it. There were more Hayabusas going over the cliff. It was really funny.
Exactly.
Oh man, was it embarrassing. Guys videotaping their own demise. But actually, no, I'm just kidding around. We're giving each other a hard time. But this is a probably useful thing if you're going to do long distance riding.
Well, that's what it is for.
Yeah, of course.
The travel one actually expands to be bigger.
Yeah.
And it holds my camera equipment really nice and safe for me.